Lights,
Okay.
camera, reaction, take
Okay.
1, 2, 3, toca la pared. Soy Grace,
Soy Ruby.
Soy Sidney.
Soy Rachel.
and welcome to Lights, Camera, Reaction. I thought The Orphanage was really interesting. I cried at the end. It was an emotional moment for me. It was in Spanish, which was interesting. I think I missed some things because I was really focusing on the subtitles rather than kind of watching at some points. And
Yeah,
so-
same.
And you really had to rely on the subtitles. In the version we watched, some of the subtitles were like gone in some of the shots. So I think I missed a couple of things, but as we were talking about it, it kind of started to make more sense.
Yeah, the movie was not what I expected at all. It was a lot less scary, a lot less, not intense. I don't know.
agree.
Good job!
What is it that classifies this film in the genre that has subconsciously been placed, which is horror?
I think
This movie horror.
it's very creepy. Like, you're definitely...
The pumpkin mask.
Was there a pumpkin, though?
What was
It
it?
was just like a bag.
I don't look like a pumpkin.
It was kind of a bag thing. I don't know what it was, but I don't think it was a pumpkin. It was very creepy. Like, you were definitely, tense the whole time because you're expecting, some ghost to jump out, and they don't. The ghosts don't really jump out. They just they're there. I don't know if that makes any sense, but,
That's weird because I was not tense at all. That movie was not scary whatsoever. But I think it could be classified as scary because you kind of expect in the beginning, they kind of introduce this ghost, you know that there's going to be some sort of haunted house or something by the way it's presented, and then later on in the movie you find out that it is a haunted house. And I think to some people that can be a lot more scary than it is to me. But yeah.
Yeah, you're kind of desensitized. You watch a lot of horror movies. We got any more questions?
It could also be classified as horror in the sense that, they think that Simone has been kidnapped, and a lot of people in that could be horror or crime, but it's classified under horror because, where am I going with this?
I think they were saying it could be classified as horror because of the paranormal activities.
Yeah, and the fact that a lot of horror movies have some sort of paranormal thing, taking a child away or doing something to the family and affecting them and trying to get in their head, and that's exactly what happened.
I play with demons every day.
Nice.
Nice.
So how does it differ from your typical horror film?
It was in Spanish. It was in Spanish.
How does it compare to the Silence of the Lambs as we've seen before?
It's definitely, I think the main thing is that it didn't really have a antagonist, in my opinion. The ghosts in the house were not really, I don't think, malevolent. They were more, they're trying to be heard and help these children that were murdered in this very violent and cruel way. And, but they're not evil. They're not trying to hurt anybody. They're trying to play, or they're granting a wish,
Or they're trying to get the attention.
Yeah, they're trying to get the attention of Simone, which they did, and of Laura, which eventually they did. But it wasn't really, I was expecting there to be some big villain at the end, and there really wasn't.
Mm-hmm. Well, unless you consider that old lady, what was her name?
Benigna.
When I got hit by a bus.
She was a villain because in the beginning, or towards the middle we find out that she was the one who, when her son died after he had a deformed face, she went after all the kids who bullied him during that time. And she poisoned them and she tortured them.
So she's kind of the root cause of all the paranormal
Yeah.
activity.
Because they wouldn't be dead. And
Yeah.
stuck at that house. Their ghosts wouldn't be stuck at the house without her. So I kind of see her as the villain and the bad guy because she started it all.
What do you think, Sidney?
I don't know.
She murdered
The kids.
which is not a nice thing to do.
Exactly.
But I really thought it was interesting that they kind of set it up to be like, oh, these malevolent spirits are trying to kidnap this kid, because in the scene where they called in the paranormal investigator and she's just seeing all these horrible things, and there's all these like the screaming and wailing over the intercom thing that they used, where you're thinking like, oh, these are going to be angry spirits that are wanting to hurt people, but they're really not.
They were just, it was more of like they needed a cry of help.
Yeah.
Or like a cry of, I need attention. Like, I didn't get a life like you have and I want to play. Like, I've been stuck here for years. This house has been abandoned for years. Now that someone's moved in, I want to play. And they didn't get a full childhood, so that's kind of why.
That'd be such a cool job, though, to go and mess with children.
What?
Like, you know how she walked in and then she like...
To mess with children.
Ooh.
Like, okay.
I know what you mean. Like to be a paranormal investigator, or like
that.
the lady who went and talked to them. Yeah, that was.
That'd be a fun job. I'd be
down.
terrified, but
Dude, I'd be chilling.
Same.
chilling with the ghouls.
What was that? Okay.
So at the beginning of the film, one of the caretakers of the orphanage, when we see the kids playing, one of the caretakers says, to Laura, even though she's not speaking directly to her, she says, your friends are gonna miss you a lot. How do you think this becomes important throughout the film?
I think slowly the ghosts of the children kind of start to recognize Laura as the little girl that they lived with and played with when they were still alive. At the very end of the movie, when Laura has killed herself, they kind of come up to her, and she's a ghost now, and they kind of come up to her and it's like, oh, it's...
Because I got that they were trapped in that one room where the lady found them.
No.
And she...
The lady trapped them in the room after...
But why wasn't she one of them?
Because she was adopted. She got adopted before
that makes a lot more sense. Now I forgot what I was saying.
We got it.
What was I saying now?
You were talking about how...
Oh, yeah, so she met the kids that were ghosts, and then she moved back into the house because that was her childhood spot as an orphan. And so she moved back there with her husband and her kid, Simone.
She was gonna open...
She was gonna open
orphanage.
her own orphanage and adopt kids.
Like special needs kids.
Yeah, special needs kids. And Simone was
didn't
special
he
needs
have,
too.
like, a disease?
He had HIV, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's when she kind of, when that lady said that, I think she kind of realized that there was something odd about it, and that's kind of when she kind of started to believe in like paranormal activity and realized, and then she got all those hints that the kids that she played with when she was little and that she had her childhood with were ghosts in the house, and they kind of recognized her and took her son in as like, yeah.
Speaking of taking her son in, what's the importance of him saying the things he said? For example, when he said, "I'm not gonna grow old
He knows.
like you."
He knows because like the kids, I guess, told him that he was gonna die.
They knew that he had HIV and that they told him that he was not going to live.
And how does his mom's reaction become important to that as well? How does that contribute to the storyline of the film?
She's very flustered. She's kind of freaked out, I think. She ends up just getting so flustered that she hits him when he refuses to go downstairs to meet the children for the orphanage. And I think that without that kind of snap, then Simon wouldn't have gone down to the Tomas's little house and been trapped in there.
Well, I don't think he would have ended up attacking his mom, because not necessarily attacking, but he puts on his costume because it was kind of like a costume party, when like she was meeting all these like kids with special needs and trying to see which one she think would be a good fit to like have in the orphanage. And during that time she was looking for Simone, and they were all in costumes, so she couldn't really tell which one was him. And then she goes upstairs to look, and then he like comes out of nowhere down the hall and then just kind of like
slams her finger in the door.
Yeah, that was, I'm pretty sure that was an accident. Pushes her in the bathroom.
That was definitely
slams her
not an
finger.
accident. She felt, okay, sure, an accident. Your mom is chilling and you just want to slam the door on her finger.
But she was going into the bathroom because he pushed her in.
I think
exactly.
He pushed her in.
in.
I don't think he meant to slam her finger. I think he meant to like push her into the bathroom.
Yeah, he just meant to lock her in there.
Yeah.
Because he pushed his mom in the bathroom and then he locked her in there, and then he held the key up to the glass and was like, "You're locked in here." And then he went downstairs back to Thomas's little house or whatever, because that's what he wanted to show his mom. And she was too stubborn, and she was too worried about the party and like making a good presence towards all the people that she was meeting, to worry about what Simon had to show her. And that's kind of what triggered it. And then the slapping added on to that, because she didn't have time for him. She was giving her attention to these people that she doesn't even know. And so I think him like knowing that kind of like triggered his anger, and then which led to him being trapped in the little room and then led to his death. So in the end we find out that Lauda, she was the root cause, because when she was searching for Simon during this party, she accidentally locked him into like Thomas's little room, which was kind of like a secret compartment behind a closet, which was where the ghost of Thomas, which was the deformed boy that was the lady's son.
It was the same mask, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because he was deformed. And that's where Simon ended up, and that's where the mom found out that she had later, like 9 months later, when they still hadn't found him yet and they thought he was kidnapped or something, they found out that he had been stuck there, and she accidentally, when she was looking for him, accidentally trapped him in there, and then he died there. And then she committed suicide because she was the reason he died, or she thought she was the reason he died.
So, how do you think, in the end, the film successfully diverts from your typical happy ending, regardless of, like, you know, the narrative tropes and everything that happens?
I think it's different because, like, you know, you would think, especially with, like, death being sad, but, like, it's kind of happy because she gets to be with her son again and take care of the orphan kids. So.
I think it's definitely a very satisfying ending, I thought. I was crying, but it was kind of happy tears. But it was a very good movie. Very emotional.
Okay, that's lights, camera, and reaction.